Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is OLA-smefips. I welcome every old members and new members just joining us. Kindly do well to subscribe to the channel and do well to also click the notification bell so you get notified when we upload new content like this. Without further ado, let's get started with what we are going to be doing today. So today we are going to be discussing a simple but yet controversial topic, which is titled addiction. So what is addiction? So many outstanding scholars, professors of the book in your schools and in diversities of organizations have come to terms with this concept. They have tried as much as possible to describe it, but however, for the sake of simplicity, we are going to be focusing solely on a particular man's ideology and definition of this particular concept. So according to Dr. Gabor Mate, a renowned physician and an expert on addiction, trauma, and mental health, he defines addiction in a way that emphasizes its psychological and emotional root rather than just focusing on substance dependence or behavioral compulsion. So let us go into the details of the definition of Dr. Gabor Mate. Dr. Gabor Mate defined addiction as any behavior or substance that an individual craves, which he finds temporary relief or pleasure in, but suffers negative consequences as a result of, and yet continues to use or engage in it despite those consequences. So in a simple and profound manner, this is what Dr. Gabor Mate is trying to explain to us. He's trying to tell us that addiction is any activity. It could be any substance that you continue to use, that you find temporary pleasure or relief. The thing you do actually gives you pleasure, a result on the positive, but it also gives you another problem at the end of the day, which is the pain and consequences on the other end, which is actually greater than the positive pleasure that is temporary. So this is the quagmire of addiction. It gives you temporary relief. On the other end, it also provides you with what? A long-term pain, a long-term consequence that makes you always return back to it whenever you claim you want to stop. So for example, addiction are in various vices. It could be in times of abuse of drug and substances. It could be abuse of your body, your sexuality, so sexual indulgence and all of that. So but for today, we're going to be looking at a very, very sensitive part of that, which could be masturbation. It is a type of addiction where an individual, male or female, is actually addicted to sexual indulgences whereby they stimulate themselves to get sexual pleasure and climax, but in the long run they suffer long-term pain. So this is what addiction is all about. So what are the key aspects of Dr. Gabor Mate's perspective? Number one is not just drug or alcohol can be the only thing an individual could be addicted to, just like we have defined and described. Addiction can include substance. It can also include your behavior. It could also translate to mean anything. It could just be an activity all by itself. Addiction is also rooted in your trauma, past trauma, and your emotional pain. So Dr. Gabor Mate believes that addiction actually stems from unresolved trauma. For some of you, while you were growing up, you are afraid to have one-on-one discussion with yourself, or you create an unhealthy hatred towards the opposite sex, which actually creates the illusion that masturbation is the right thing for you to do, and you have since then adopted that perspective as to be the right approach. An addiction could also be a result of unhealthy cravings for dopamine. Which is Dr. Gabor Mate now acknowledges that some neurobiological aspects like dopamine-driven reward system are the causative factor that also sponsors addiction. So the question is, why are we addicted? Is that a real question? No. According to the famous quote Dr. Gabamati dropped, he countered that opinion. He said we should stop asking, why am I suffering from this addiction? Because the addiction all by itself is not the end. It is only a means to an end. So what is the end? The end is the pain. So instead of asking the question, why am I suffering from this addiction? The better question will be, why am I suffering from this pain? You should stop asking the wrong question if you want to see the right answer. So the question now is, why the pain? If you can look back to when you were growing up, you will find your answer there. Take your time to go over this particular video and listen over again so you can reconnect back to your original self. And I stand to be corrected, but I personally don't believe you are addicted. Yes, you heard me right. As someone who has struggled with this and who is still in his recovery process, I stand to be corrected, but I can categorically tell you that no one is addicted. You are only either lazy or you no longer find meaning and purpose that motivates you to go out and be yourself. Don't give in to identity crisis and all of this rubbish and garbage flying all around. So, if this simple video has been able to bless you, we would love you to be a part of our community. Like the video, share it to others who are also struggling. It could be a friend, it could be a family. And do well to subscribe and like. See you in our next video. Peace.